He pauses the album. Wait, is he an awful person? No. Can't listen to it. I'm done.
This is an after-school program podcast.
What key are we in? G?
Yeah.
Hey,
All right.
it's Mom and Dad.
I mean, it's great to be in the presence of real TikTok stars like yourself.
Listen here.
No, we're one of your kids at this
We're
point.
one of your kids. What are you talking about? We're not on. We didn't join TikTok to be TikTokers. We joined to be children of Mother and Father Griswold.
Yes.
First of all, hey, welcome to Church Choice Podcast. You already know the drill. I'm not gonna say it. PD, welcome to the show.
Yeah. My name's PD, and I'm excited
Yes.
because we've always wanted to have a couple on, and we've never done it.
Yeah, we never have. My name is Shama, and I had an ex-girlfriend one time tell me that I dress like a Gap kid, and that mildly offended me, but not enough for me to change anything, so I still dress like a Gap kid to this day, and I'm sorry. She probably is going to listen to this episode, and I'm sorry. I haven't changed. I'm not sorry. This is who I am. On the show today, we are very excited.
Can we cue up the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
Music?
Oh, my bad. What? I'm so sorry. What are we... Yeah.
We got to get their intro song.
We gotta get their intro. Today on Church Stories Podcast,
We've got Alex and Melinda Griswold.
starting off on Instagram and taking it by storm, they thought this isn't enough, so they expanded their empire on TikTok.
And now they have 2.4 million children.
Million children, and we are one of them, and so are you, ladies and gentlemen. Alex and Melinda Griswold.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
Listen, we had to roll out the digital red carpet. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good.
Good.
Doing good.
That's really good.
This is Melinda's. This is
Yeah,
Melinda's
I've never
first time
done this before.
ever on a
Never been on
podcast. So, no,
No.
Awesome.
I've only been on your podcast. This is like this is my third podcast appearance.
You
so
don't do people don't invite you to podcasts like every week?
now they do, and then but it's like then I look it up and I'm like,
Hey, that makes us feel
maybe,
special.
maybe not. Yeah. So.
People, yeah, they're like, I'd love to have you on my podcast, and then you listen to it, and it all sounds like it was recorded in a tin can, and you're like, oh, no,
Yeah.
no.
I get a lot when it's like they haven't even started their podcast yet.
They want you to be their first guest.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're like,
yeah.
well, or like one of the first guests. I'm like, so you're starting a podcast? You have no proof of having a podcast. Like, maybe
man!
not.
But they're using that so they can say, guys, we have TikTok celebrity.
We have TikTok celebrities. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
So we started. I guess you're still in the chat. We're all Illuminati members.
Yes. On Instagram.
Alex was a Christian
Yeah.
meme sensation, and then Melinda kind of took over as the star of that.
I was made into a meme too many times.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And now we've left the church. Of course. No, we have not. No.
To
pray
form
for
your
you.
own.
We pray for you.
those-
Well, yeah. Okay. So the last time we talked to you, or the first of 3 times you did a podcast, you told us that you were just moved out. I think they just moved to California,
Yeah,
right?
or
you
San
were
Francisco.
San Francisco.
I think so.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that was pretty recent. Yeah.
And you moved out there to pursue a career in something in IT, tech, that world. What was it?
Yes. Yeah. I started to as an iOS developer at a small startup.
Okay.
And that's still what I'm
Still
doing.
where you
yeah,
are.
that's
Yeah.
still what I'm
Okay,
doing. Believe it or not. Yeah.
Okay. Are you enjoying it?
It's interesting work. I mean, it's been a nice opportunity to come out here.
Yeah.
We're still not like sold on California at this point,
No.
but like, yeah, we realized all at once, and I hate it when people like talk about like home prices or anything like that, but we realized like, oh, no way in our wildest dreams could we ever own a home out here. And that was like when I like looked up what's like the mortgage monthly payments for a $3 million home, and I'm like, oh,
a lot.
that's not even possible. So
Yeah.
so we're here as a stepping stone to somewhere else is what we're
That's
thinking.
cool.
Alexa, play
Yeah.
California Dreaming.
We can't afford that. She's gonna play.
We've got one
we
in
have
the
an
studio.
That's good. Yeah, that's nice.
Well,
Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. That's enough.
Cut
Alexa, stop it.
copyrighted.
I find myself.
Yeah. You just lost your YouTube monetization right there. It's all
She's
over.
not
Alexa,
listening to me.
stop! Hey, crisis averted.
We owe them $5 million.
Yeah.
That just tanked the podcast. That one stunt, that one bit just
It's
tanked
good.
us. But man, well, California is one of those things that everyone out here aspires to move out there, and then there are also every now and then you run into somebody who's moved back from there, and they're like, "Don't do it, don't go." And you're like, okay, but I want to pursue my dream or whatever.
Like
so.
you got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really pretty out here. We love it. We're in North Bay. Like we don't know what it would be like if we went down to like LA. Like LA is a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's like that's still like in
It's
like
also
the
a little bit
cards.
scary.
A little scary in some areas, but like California is scary,
Yeah.
kind of in parts.
And all
you know?
the trees look sad. So what trees look sad.
I don't know. We're looking
There's
right
the
out.
ones in Los
We're
We're
Angeles.
looking at some.
Yeah.
We're looking at
we
some nice
have happy
redwoods.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Guys,
Yeah.
that's just that's really just to explain and to flex on who we have the guests today. they live in California and they have the happiest of
Yeah.
trees that they're staring at right now.
Not like,
have to
not
look
like
at
the
us.
peasants in Los
Yeah.
Angeles who have those dried up, sad looking palm
Depression
trees.
trees. They're like,
Come
your
on,
saddest,
man.
please, your saddest tree, please. They're at Lowe's.
Yeah, whenever I would watch your TikToks, the first thought was always, I told him to buy that microphone. It was because you came on this podcast and you're like, what mic should I buy? So I recommended that one. And
Yeah.
then that was like in every TikTok you made.
It's a great mic, isn't it?
It's fantastic. I mean, this is like our first time. We've like the first week using these ones.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. I when Petey said that, I'm like, yeah, you're the reason I'm TikTok famous. If it had it not been,
because of the mic.
yeah, because of the mic, it would have been. That's when everything got elevated.
Okay, well, you've talked about it too many times. Good Morning America, like everywhere. But tell us about like your TikTok, the leap. Well, it's not really a leap. It's more of like a rainbow, with just a pot of gold on the end. Tell us about that. Tell us about that journey of starting on TikTok and
Starting on TikTok,
Gathering.
Yeah,
I
making
remember.
the pilgrimage.
Yeah, I remember it was like when we had left it last podcast, it was like I'm starting YouTube, and like YouTube, I didn't do that. That never happened. So I mean, it was very funny. It's like TikTok. When I joined was like when it was like that hype train was just like it was still like a little weird that
Yeah.
a 20-year-old like a 20 plus something was on TikTok.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just things started going well, and I remember it was like there was that moment where I had missed my first Alex Makes Christian Memes like post that day, and I was like, then I gave up. Like it was like I was like I bumped this, and then
yeah.
It's back like when we did that other podcast. Me and you were like obsessed with making our meme pages popular.
Yep. And that was the thing. It was like Alex Makes Christian Memes for like a year and a half, I think.
Yeah, and the second you missed a day, you were like, I don't care anymore.
I don't care about this. It's like the difference between it. It's like, like you build it up. It's like on Instagram, it's like, oh my gosh, I got 10,000 likes on a picture.
Yeah.
And then it was like on TikTok, it's like, I got 10,000 comments in the first 10 minutes. And you're like, oh, I guess I maybe should devote a little bit more time to the TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, when our videos started doing well, I was texting Alex. I was like, yeah, like I'm getting pulled in.
The number count. Yeah. So how do you it's like going from from an above ground pool to like the ocean. That's what TikTok
The ocean,
is.
yeah.
It's freaking insane. It's like the numbers are just. I was telling a friend, I'm on the phone. I'm like, it doesn't. I was telling Peter, I'm like, this doesn't even sound real. It doesn't seem
No.
real to get 100,000 likes on a thing. You know what I mean? Like, what was that even? Like, do you read DMs? Do you read comments? Do you read them to each other? How does
Yeah.
that even work?
Oh yeah. I mean, I got to the point where it's like it used to be like something where I could actually respond to all of the DMs and it was like something manageable. But like now
Not
it's
anymore.
like I mean, I try to because I want to I don't want to be one of those people where it's like, oh, I'm too cool to respond to your comment. But like literally like I'll be like in the first like bit trying to respond to stuff and I'm just like I'm going to get what I get.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that's always funny, because like Melinda has managed like big pages that people
Yeah.
don't realize is like I have the ability to read all your DMs. I might not have the time to respond to your DMs,
But we see it all.
but I see them all.
Yeah.
Everything you said.
I want to know these pages. Like, you manage Papa John's? I mean, not Papa John's. Papa John Schnatter.
No.
No,
I don't think I'm allowed to say, actually.
She managed like major Christian artists.
Yes.
Okay.
Major Christian bands
Like
and
verified,
artists.
like real,
Like-
like you've sung them in church. You
More
know.
times than you
Wow,
even
so we're
know.
here with Toby Mac's social media manager, Melinda Griswold.
So, I've listened to a few Christian artists talk about like how flooded their DMs get with just thirsty women. So, were you just waking up like thirst trap, delete, thirst trap, delete?
That is
was it really?
actually completely accurate.
Shut up.
Like, we had can I say this? I don't even know.
I mean, we're never
I'm not
going to
say who it is.
Yeah, but
We had
Toby
to
Mac.
block. It's not. I can tell you, it is not Toby Mac. We
That's
had
one check- that's one
to
off the list.
block a lot of women
Really?
from their account. Yeah, I only worked all the accounts I was on. They were all males.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was all women. And
Really?
We.
He had some stalkers. Like, they would talk about
yes.
his children and like, oh, I saw that you were so like at this
Well, it was
whatever.
a mix of thirsty women who were just really attracted to him, and it was a mix of just people who were like obsessed with him
Yeah.
and
That's
his
gotta be-
family.
Yeah.
That's like I remember someone explained to me once like his in ministry, and he was like, "Yeah, it doesn't end when you're married. Like when people coming after you, especially at that level." And I just thought, come on, have some respect, please.
I
You know what I mean?
know.
It's like have some. But even then, you're like complimenting their children. It's kind of like, what do you expect of that? Just be like, that compliment was so nice. I'm leaving my wife. I'm taking my children with me
Yeah,
to live with
Toby Mac
you
would
in
never.
Boise,
Oh my
Idaho.
Yeah.
like what do you
Yeah.
expect from
With
that?
your 54 followers. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That
yeah, it
is-
was interesting.
Yeah. Golly. So do you still do that, or are you done?
I don't do it for those. I don't do it for those clients anymore.
Yeah.
I work mostly with like small women-owned businesses now. I left the the Christian male artist realm.
The thing that I think was the funniest is that it's like she had to pretend like on the ones that she's doing now, like she can just be like,
I
hey,
can-
this is Melinda, like
Yeah,
I'm responding
yeah.
to your DM. But for people talking to these artists,
Yeah.
they thought they were talking to this
them.
artist. They're just talking to Melinda.
So I perpetuated their fantasies
Yeah.
for them.
Were you trying to be like as casual as possible, or you like, hey, it's your boy Michael Tate from Newsboys, just telling you thank you so much. Michael Tate from Newsboys had a great birthday. Thank you.
I mean, the captions were written not casually. Like,
Okay.
hey, what's up, guys? It's so and
You
so.
wrote the captions.
I wrote the captions, but
Yeah.
then the comments, if I responded to comments or DMs, it would be just be like, yes, yay, thanks. Yes, thanks. Like,
Bless
that's
you.
all that was. Yeah. Praying for you. And in my mind, I'm like, they're not praying for you. It's just me. So,
It is I, but a lonely intern with a smart device.
yeah.
So funny.
I've got a question for Melinda. How did you respond when Alex first started making all the memes about you?
I had to approve them. I had to okay them, but I was fine with it.
Yeah.
Mm.
You like
Yeah, that was pretty fine because like the photos had already been taken, they existed. It was a lot harder for me to get involved with the TikToks because suddenly he was like, "Hey, act like this," and I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Every TikTok would end in tears.
the work
Oh,
with the
no.
memes was
Yeah.
easy because it was
Yeah.
just like a picture had already been taken. I
Just
just
random
used it,
in the
you know?
archives.
And she would be like, I don't know if I want you to use that. But like the TikTok, legitimately, the first one that she was in, like weeping. Like it took so long for her to like so nervous.
Yeah.
And now she's in every single one of them.
Now I don't
because
care. It's fine.
She's the only one people look at. You know, like that. They don't want to look at me. You know?
So Melinda, did you did you make videos or like before Alex started, or were you like, hey, that's
Oh,
your side of the
no.
marriage, like stay over there? Like, did you?
Yeah, no. I am in the background. I was not on stage. I was the stage crew. I was the don't look at me.
Yeah.
So to be suddenly put in these videos wasn't my jam, but now it's fine.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, I only want to impersonate Michael Tate on Instagram comments. That's all I want to do.
Exactly. Yeah, because no
Gotta
one
be in
could
the
see me.
It's like my wife could care less about like anything. I've told her, hey, a guy that I grew up listening to, a famous artist, just DM'd me. She's like, I've never heard of him, and I'm like, but it's a lot. You know what I mean? She just doesn't.
Did she not like get excited about DJ from Full House?
No, she didn't. Like I think she's like, oh, that's cool. Like it's like. I don't know. Like we
I
got new
smiled
lamps
for a week after that.
We got new lamps in our room today that she just ordered. I unboxed them, set them up, and she like would walk in and out of the bedroom just to stare at the lamps. And I'm like, I've got a whole career over here, and you're excited about 2 lamps. You know, so it's just like, you know. So I couldn't, you know. And same like if I ever tried putting my like doing something with my wife, like.
Yeah.
It probably would end in tears. And probably even worse. Like, she's like, I'm packing my stuff. No, because there is, like, I tell people, it's like, what makes for, you know, life, you know, or like bits, or you're just riffing and stuff, sometimes it doesn't translate in video. So it's like, hey, bigger.
For sure.
Like, PD is a pretty mellow guy. So when we started, I'm like, hey, PD, like, can you do that, but bigger?
I think one time you said, hey, could you act like you want to be here?
Okay, I said that. I flicked my cigarette and I went back to my trailer because that's what kind of level we were on.
That was it. Yeah, you guys are. That's Hollywood right there.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, but it's a ton of fun, man. It's a ton of fun. So I'm really glad to see that you have like y'all both have worked out a dynamic where you're like, okay, let's work together. Let's make the most of it. Let's be friends afterwards, right?
Yeah, and give people rocks.
Yeah.
I'm really caught up on the rocks thing. I like that a lot.
my
like,
gosh.
If somebody asks me
man.
for something, I'll be like, well, no, because I'm going to give you rocks.
I'm gonna give you rocks. My gosh, there's some things that are just like complete accidents. Like we were just like getting coffee, and I was just like, all of the great, and I'm sure that I don't know what your creative like how you guys come up with stuff, but all of my good ideas is just like I'm sitting there not trying to think of anything, and then it's just like this little like oop goes on. I'm like, and I was just like the phrase, you know, yeah, and it was exactly how I was like, Alex will give you ice cream, Melinda will give you rocks, and then I was like, and that like. And people really connected with it, which is
love it.
They love it, yeah.
A lot.
Our comments are just like rocks. You know,
What if you
so.
start calling yourself The Rock?
Ooh.
Number 2.
I know. See, that's the thing. That's the thing.
I wish.
I'm connected to the guy who does like the Rock's videography.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we gotta like.
you are?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it was like a Clubhouse thing. But anyways, like I was like, I gotta DM him and be like, bro,
Hey,
connect us to the Rock. That would be. Oh my gosh.
you could be like, hey, I'd love to. What is he's working out? I can work out. I can.
Yeah.
They're just breaking your arm. Hey, Mr. Rock. Okay, so the bit that y'all do, the running bit on TikTok, is that you play parents, right, to all your followers who are children. Your children, right?
Well, and
Yes.
us.
And us. I'm sorry.
And you, yeah.
And you.
Yeah, we've got lots of 18 plus children. When I say lots, I mean like 10%. So
What is how did that like start? And I mean, where y'all at with it now?
ooh, I mean we had a journey. There was of the whole thing. Again, it was an accident.
Yep. It started with. They all start with one.
It started with a video
Yeah.
where Melinda cried because she didn't understand it, you know, and I was like, it was just like a little thing. I was like, it wasn't even the main part of the video. It was just like, we could be the mom and dad at TikTok. And then like from that point, it was like every little thing that mentioned that did so much better than like any other video. Then we got the hype for a little bit, like weird hype, where it's just like,
It was too much
this,
hype.
like the status we're at now, like I have like double the followers of when it happened, but the status we're at now is like nothing compared to just like the floods of like, I was looking at the amount of like, I was getting the same amount of comments that like Charlie D'Amelio would get, where it's like, like 30,000 comments on a post, and like it would always go to millions of views, and it was just like a weird. It was really overwhelming, and all the and I realized like I remember the moment when it was like I started like tapping on the profiles of the people that followed us, and I'm like, it's not even just like 12-year-olds. It was like there are like 8-year-olds,
Children.
like babies. Like I'm like I didn't even know that you had a phone. Yeah, I'm like how. That was what tipped me off when I'm like, follow me on Instagram, and they're like, my mom doesn't let me have Instagram. Right. Oh no.
But they let them have TikTok?
Yeah, it's weird.
That's
I feel like
It was a whole
run into
thing.
worse stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
I know.
So then we stopped being the mom and dad, and then that was a whole mistake. And then there was just like 3 months of kind of like flopping around, and it was like everything we made just like didn't connect. And so we've kind of come back into it. We've got.
But everyone's been a little more gentle.
Everyone's been
We're
a lot
not
more
getting
gentle.
as many aggressive DMs. We were getting like so many messages. Just like I'd have hundreds of messages just saying like, "Mom, clean my room. Mom, give me dinner. Mom, do that." I was just, and I never intended for like my Instagram to be anything related to that. And I was just like, I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah, Melinda went from like nice Christian, like talking about her, like our relationship and everything, to just all children flood like on her comments and be like, "Mom, I want, yeah."
Yeah, I'd put up like a lovely caption with like a Bible verse or whatever, and it would just be like, "Give me dinner.
Yeah.
Clean my room. Give me this. Do this for me." I was just like, no.
And it was a funny transition because that's when we transitioned from, it's like with the meme pages, it's like you're able to like, it was like separate. It was like, you know, it wasn't, but then it's like once you're dealing with like my Instagram that I had for 5 years where I would just post pictures, and then it's like, so your friends are like, why is everyone calling you mom and dad? Like, this is weird.
Right.
This is like a really weird thing you got going on.
Oh man, so let me ask you this: like, in terms of like being creators, do y'all like live over and pour over the analytics of stuff? Are you like, hey, we made it, we had fun, nobody's dead, here it is, and whatever happens, or y'all like curating and like hovering over a lot of that?
I wish that I was one of those people that could just like make, you know, like be the true artist, and it's like, don't make what the audience responds to, but make what your heart feels, you know, like
That is not you.
that is not me. I am
At
the
all.
opposite. You know, I mean, the rocks thing is a perfect example. It's like the second I noticed, I'm like, that had a higher response rate. I'm like, boom, you know, like hit that on the nail. And then it's like, even if I think a video is great and it like the analytics are bad on it, I'm like, I'm not gonna like push this any farther. And like I walk away from it pretty quickly.
Yeah, you were completely driven by the numbers.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the same way to an extent. But
Yeah, but you know, I think in the past it used to like you'd ruin my week, you know. I'd mope around the house. I'm like, did numbers.
One
Like,
thing
doesn't make sense.
that I like that y'all talk about is like finding a place to move all of these people, which like I've always wanted to start a cult, and I feel like, you know, the four of us and Chase, we're all very charismatic people. Our producer Chase.
Hey, our producer Chase is in the corner over here.
I think if we
Hey,
all,
Chase.
you know, joined our forces, we could make a great cult.
Guys, I mean, find a little island, buy it.
Yeah. We've got the money for that. We can make it happen. And yeah, I'm down. Let's start the cult.
I mean, we'll even move your trees. How about that? Like,
Thank you.
Oh yeah, well we don't have
We
to
got
fund
the
cult.
happy
Our
trees.
followers will.
Yeah, that's
True,
all we have to
true.
say. It's just like, we've got an island. It has happy trees. Come over.
Yeah, it costs $100,000 a year to live with us, and you don't get paid for the work you do.
Easy.
man.
Easy.
PD wanted us to pull up an old bit.
Yeah.
Give you guys an opportunity.
It's been a long time since we've
it's been a
rebuked
while.
anything.
We kind of tabled this bit, but we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back for you both.
Yeah.
And by bringing
Lovely.
it back, it's not like we put it anywhere. It's just we've forgotten to do it. When PD reminded me, I was like, yeah, let's bring it up. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
so
So you just, you know, rant about something, and
Yeah,
at the end you name the thing and say dramatically, "I rebuke it."
Yeah. This is
And then Chase
pick
pick a sound drop for after they say "I rebuke it."
We loaded some new sound.
Who
drops,
wants
too.
to start?
Yeah, so we're gonna pick something to rebuke, and you just give us,
Or no,
however
just-
long.
Yeah, or why don't you start?
I start with
Yeah.
rebuking something. Yeah, sure. Do you want to give me a
Or
topic?
just pick something. What annoys you?
Okay, what annoys me right now? I rebuke people using filters and Photoshop on pictures of their face to hide their pores. You deserve pores. God gave you pores. Your face has texture. I rebuke Facetune and all those other apps that make girls and young women and people feel insecure about their body, but their bodies are good because they're created in God's image. And also, everybody's face, you know, sometimes we look a little beat. That's it. That's our rebuke. Sorry, rebuke. That's it. That's all I got.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I'll go next. I rebuke politicians starting podcasts. It started when I saw that Jeb, or not Jeb. I wish Jeb had a podcast. Maybe that would be the one that I listened to. But it was Pete Buttigieg.
Please clap.
Yeah, please go. Please clap. Welcome
clap.
to the Please
It's
Clap
called
podcast.
Please Listen.
Please listen podcast.
Please listen, question mark. Yeah, I would listen to that one, but I saw Pete Buttigieg started one called The Defining Decade, and then Michelle Obama had one, Hillary has one, and then I saw
Andrew
that,
Yang.
Yeah, Andrew Yang, and this one sounded like a straight fever dream. Obama and Bruce Springsteen. Where did that come from?
That's a Spotify original.
Wait,
that's
is that real?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a Spotify exclusive
Oh.
podcast. Yeah.
Do you think like are Spotify executives in charge, or was like Obama like, hey, could I Mr. Spotify? I'd love to do a podcast.
I'm a little jealous of Michelle.
A little Obama and Bruce pod. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Great.
And they're like, yes, Mr. President. When do you want to start? Now. Put him on the phone. Like, what the
Today.
heck? Hold on, we gotta.
Got my mic.
Oh man, that was good.
Yeah, well, politicians starting podcasts, stay in your own space, and I rebuke you. You've got enough influence.
Man, yeah. You,
right.
Now it's up to you guys.
All right, Melinda, what do you got?
Oh, I don't know.
Anything.
I get annoyed at so many things.
I know.
Oh wow. We'll just block off the rest of the show. All right.
Yeah, I'll just go for I rebuke people stealing your assigned parking space and claiming that it's theirs when it is definitely not, and then the apartment manager trying to let the new person have it when you've had it for months. But I won, so that's what I rebuke. If a parking space is assigned to you, it is yours.
This is such an
This
LA
just happened
problem.
yesterday.
People taking your parking spot. Yeah.
But it's assigned.
See, yeah,
It
you
is
guys,
mine.
you know, this is city life. We're not even in the city. You
No.
guys don't even know what that's like. You probably got one of those apartment complexes where you can just pull in wherever, you know? No.
Yeah.
Not in this
Great-
world.
great
Melinda held her
review.
own. That
I
was
did
a good
hold
one.
my own.
You did.
I
That
was
was
really
that was
proud of
just
that.
yesterday. That's fresh.
That's-
That's a fresh win
It
right
is.
there. All right. So what do I rebuke? Oh, I rebuke people asking you a question that is 100% Googleable.
Yes.
Like that, oh my gosh, that is the worst thing to ever happen to me. As a leader, as a person in charge, I'm like, you asked me a question, and I'm 100% sure that I do not need to be answering this question for you. Yeah, I don't have any way to expound on that, but that's my least.
How
favorite
frequent does this happen that you're like,
All the time.
hold on, if you ask me New York, what's the capital of New York?
Alex, what's the capital of New York? Yeah, no.
Who asks you these questions?
It happens at work. Happens a lot. Happens online a lot. You know, that's
It's like you only see me.
No, yeah, no. Melinda doesn't do that.
I got asked how old a celebrity was yesterday. I'm like, what am I, his mom? Like, Google
Yeah,
it.
like, no.
Oh man, yeah, I've heard.
Wow.
It depends on the context, but like, people ask, "Yo, what kind of camera gear? What kind of mic should I get? I've got $27." And it's got it's one of those things. You're like, "Hey, buddy, hey, your guess at this point, your money and your guess as good as mine. So go with God. How about that? Like,
Yeah, go with that one.
yeah.
Oh
But-
my gosh. And there's the people who they don't even ask the question. They ask if they can ask you a question.
This is what I was thinking. I get DMs all the time that just say, hey, can I ask you a question? And I will not open that DM
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
afraid of what the question is going to be.
That's-
I'm not going to be like, yes. And then they're like asking some ridiculous thing that I've said I will answer.
That
Well,
stays
you
in
should
message
say,
requests.
Yeah.
I will look at it, but I'm not going to guarantee that I will answer it.
You just give
I
them
can
like
look
a
at that
generic,
question.
like just like a copy paste, just kind of like Melinda Griswold has. We'll
Yes.
read your question, but it's not liable, or we'll respond to anything
Yeah.
else. You're like, what the heck?
That's where you got to pull the assistant move.
bot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very funny.
You want to have Chase read an email?
Yeah.
Well,
So
why don't we check in with him
Well, first of all, do we
Yeah.
want to see if they have any church stories before?
Oh, yeah.
Because So guys, the name of the podcast is called Church Stories.
What?
Sometimes, well, if you're just tuning in as a guest, usually we read emails, or sometimes we'll let the guests talk about their church stories. But since y'all are here, we want to give you guys an opportunity to share a church story.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
the
gosh.
flesh.
See, this is weird because I haven't been to church in a year. You know.
True.
I don't know if you guys know, but in California, nothing's open still.
Really?
So-
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still.
no church.
Our
Church
church-
is not a thing.
Church is opening maybe late summer,
Maybe.
early fall. We'll see.
Maybe winter.
Yeah.
In South Carolina, like, people did it. Even in the first 2 weeks, everybody's like, nah, nothing's happening. There's nothing going on out in the world right now. We can go do what we want.
I remember someone, like, the first time I realized COVID was, like, real. I got dressed to go to church. My wife was out of town. My wife and our son was out of town. And they were out of town. And I was getting dressed. I got dressed, and I remember I took an outfit of the day because I just got like a new shirt and some shoes, and I snapped it in my mirror, and then I sent it to my wife, and I'm like, "Hey, outfit of the day." And then the moment I send it, a lady I go to church with texts me. She was like, "Don't go to church," and I'm like, "Excuse me, Miss Amanda, what?" She's like, "Do not go to church. You have asthma. COVID is getting worse and worse. You shouldn't go." And I remember I changed into a t-shirt and gym shorts, and I didn't wear anything else for months. And that was just it.
Yep.
Yeah.
gosh,
Did you tune
my
into
gosh.
any like Zoom churches or online churches at all?
Yeah. We go back and forth on the different churches that we attend.
I guess
on
it's
the
a lot
Zoom
easier to
churches.
move churches
You
virtually.
just change channels.
Church,
Yeah.
Yeah.
churches, and church is a whole lot harder to go to when you don't have to go anymore.
That is also
YouTube.
true. We are a little guilty of that.
Oh man.
It's like every once in a while I'll be like, "Oh, it's Sunday," you know. Oh,
You're like, it's Sunday. Yeah. Oh, that's
so
funny.
it's been so yeah. No, unfortunately, I don't think either of us have any fresh church stories because there has been no church happening.
Okay.
Do you have any church stories? Yeah. I don't think I have any church
I wasn't
stories.
prepared. I'm sorry.
We do have weird listeners who send us their stories.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
pull up
because we've run out of ours too. So
Listen, this seems like a great one because this person's name is Alex Robertson, and we have Alex on the
Perfect.
podcast.
yeah.
This one is called The Naked Worship Leader. So you know it's gonna be good.
You wanna get Chase to read
it's
it?
gonna be good. Let me read it. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'll read it since they can see me. Okay, my name is Alex Robertson, and I am a youth pastor and teacher in Central Louisiana. First of all, they said, "Hi, hey, Shaman PD," and also Melinda and Alex. Okay, youth pastor in Central Louisiana. I have been a part of a church my whole life with many family members in the ministry. Grew up Southern Baptist and went to a Christian college. This story takes place during college. I ran sound for chapel and the chapel band when it traveled. We traveled to South Louisiana to play for a D-Now at a friend's church. Do you know what D-Now is?
No.
Okay, so it's like a discipleship now, where it's essentially just
Classic.
like a winter, like a weekend retreat or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. I ran sound for a D-Now at a church. In between sessions, all of the guys of the band and I were traveling and visiting the homes of the guys at the D-Now, while the ladies went to the ladies' homes. You know, simple stuff. You know how you do. You know how you do that. You travel around the different houses. Not sure if you've ever been traveling in a car with college guys, but they come up with some stupid games like the headlight game. The premise of the headlight game is that when you are driving at night and you see a car that has a headlight out, whoever is last to hit the roof of the car must remove an article of clothing. Have you heard of that? Have y'all ever heard of that game
This
before?
sounds like it could
Alex,
get.
Alex is like,
See,
yes!
That's I heard of the concept. I have it minus the taking off your clothes part.
Yeah,
That's the-
they didn't need to add a Me Too element.
Yeah. You can, have you heard of this,
Yeah.
Chase? Have you heard of You have? Okay, Chase. Okay. Yeah. That seems like you can always tell something that was like from a different era, you know, when they're like, yeah, we rode around in a car 6 deep, you know what I mean? And, like, what the heck? and we just got naked because the car didn't have a headlight.
we're just like whatever. You know, it's
Yeah,
good,
it was
Just
crazy.
college guys being
You know
college
what I mean?
guys.
Hey, it was 2019. Remember? Okay, they told us about the premise. Okay, so we have been playing this for most of the evening, and we had one guy down to just his boxers, which is, you know, I don't. He put a period at the end of that sentence. I don't know if he meant like, man, how about we're winning, right? I'm slapping roofs, and this one loser is shivering in his boxers.
I bet that dude was praying the whole ride. Please don't let us come across a car that doesn't have a.
Oh my gosh.
So I will say this: like, I didn't grow up in public school. Chase, you went to public school, so my relationship with being undressed in front of other guys is very different from other people. Like people who are in like locker rooms and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like homie, don't play that. You were like, you remember going to camp when we went to camp together? Yeah. And yeah, dudes were just, the bathroom was just mayhem. And I'm like, hey, maybe let's not do that. But hey, to each their own. Okay, this guy's down to his boxers. We stopped at his parents' house. His parents' house is on all caps. So we let him put his clothes on as to not get caught playing this dumb game. But as soon as we got back in, he had to strip down. As soon as you're like, oh, did you enjoy seeing mom and dad? All right, strip down. Again, we didn't forget. Okay, strip down playing. We let him put his clothes back on and then strip down. The leader of the band was driving the truck and hatched a plan to make this guy lose. He hatched a plan? What the heck? We had started the car and he left his lights off and then announced it to the car, and we all hit the roof and this guy lost it. None of us thought he would actually get naked, but he rode all the way in the back, in the middle back, butt naked, while the rest of us stared out the window.
If
we
they
almost
didn't want him to do, why didn't they just say, oh, you don't actually have to do that?
Hey, just kidding, man. You're down to your boxes. That's enough shame. How about that? Okay.
Really committed to that bit there.
Man.
It's a really incriminating email.
Rode all the way in the back.
Yeah.
Back to the church in the middle, butt naked. Okay, we almost got pulled over when the driver of the truck ran a red light in front of a cop, but thankfully he did not come after us.
What?
Could you imagine explaining that? Like, do you remember? Whoa, that kid is naked in the back of the van.
Whoa, Charlie, quick, get your boxers on right now.
Oh, man. That's one of those things, like youth group games or something about like the hive mind. Nobody thinks about repercussions, right? It's like, what? We ran a red light and somebody's naked? Keep it moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
totally fine.
doesn't
Totally
matter.
fine.
Yeah, like what's the worst that could happen if we smash this hotel window?
Nothing. Okay, but thankfully he didn't come after us. The naked guy is now a youth pastor. I'm glad that there's like closure. Is now a youth pastor and middle school teacher in town. This is like end of the movie, like, you know, like freeze frame.
This is the freeze frame moment, yeah.
Naked guy is now a youth pastor, middle school teacher in town. He really turned his life around. For those listeners who are naked in the back of a bus right now, I just want to. This guy made it. Love the podcast. I found it recently and have been listening to older episodes as often as I can. I also love your work on Instagram. If I can shamelessly plug, I host a podcast with a friend. You cannot plug this. I'm just kidding.
Hey, cut this out and post.
Cut this out. Okay, we will. With a friend from college who I teach with. It's called History Across the Hall because we teach across the hall from each other. Give it a listen if you find the time and want to learn about something you might have missed in history class. May the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you. Thanks, Alex, for his glory alone. Alex Clayton Robertson. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah.
I told you our listeners are weird.
Yeah, that's one of those emails that it's like, I can't believe that he like told that whole story. And he's like, you know what, I'm gonna send this so that it can be public. This is a public story now.
Yeah, remembered it and then like typed it, and it was still how ludicrous it sounded in typed form. He was still like, yeah, I'm gonna send this to another human.
That's the one.
Yeah. No, not only send it to another human, but send it to another human specifically for them to read it to all of their fans.
And then following that, actually saying, this is me publicly, go follow me on this platform.
Hey, he's not the one that got naked.
It wasn't anonymous.
So.
So we're good.
Yeah, it's fine. We still don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Right. But we do know that he's a youth pastor, middle school pastor, and a teacher.
Yeah.
So somewhere right now, he's just in his thoughts thinking, man, I can't believe they tricked me. They tricked me.
Great job, Alex.
Did y'all? Okay, so where did y'all live before you moved to California?
We lived in Florida. We both grew up in Florida. Yeah.
And y'all were all involved in church a lot there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very involved.
We need a Florida man drop.
Yeah, we got it. We're talking shop. But go ahead.
We both. I mean, you worked. We both worked at churches, so we've been paid by the church for years. Yeah, so that was our whole life beforehand. So it's been very weird this whole year. But yeah, we've been very involved in church back in the day. That was like, so it's been funny not working in the church circles anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask this: did your parents work in church like growing up?
No, mine did not.
No, yeah, and mine weren't either. They
They got saved. My parents were the ones who like got saved later in life. I think they got saved like right before I was born. So that was their like they were on that path.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we were the crazy ones that decided to start working at the churches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to hear Alex's story about playing the wrong click track, which is one of my favorite stories
Oh my gosh.
ever on the
Oh
show.
my gosh.
Yeah, go listen to the one about Alex makes Christian memes. It was like that was a long time ago.
Oh man. Yeah.
That was a joy. That was like the most embarrassing moment
So
I've ever had.
So like what did your parents think of like when you told them that y'all were moving, like leaving working for a church to move to California? Because I was like, my parents held working for a church, like in the ministry, air quotes, to such high regard, you know, that they're like, there's nothing greater you can do on earth or for the kingdom of heaven. So it's kind of like when I was like, hey, I don't, you know, I got fired from a church as a youth pastor. I was like, hey, I don't think I want to do this anymore. There was like a lot of come to Jesus meetings to kind of reconcile, like, hey, I'm okay, but I just, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think my dad literally just said, "Great, go where the money is."
Her dad is very practical. He's like, great, sounds like more money out there, so you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
I remember my dad, he's like thinking, you know, like when you're like, so grew up in, even though we were in South Florida, it was like we were in like the very Christian conservative bubble. And so it's like California is where you move and then you turn into a
sinner
liberal leftist. Yeah. You know, I remember my dad being like, I mean, I know those guys in California, they go to things like Burning Man, you know, like, so gotta stay away from that. That was all, I think that was really all I remember my dad saying.
Like, okay, we can avoid that.
Yeah, we can avoid Burning Man. I won't go. But they're happy for me now after the fact. I think it's all worked out. But it's always, you know, we're praying that, you know, you'll come back at least a little closer. Just go back to go to Tennessee or something, you know, closer to the East Coast.
Yeah, our families have gotten pretty used to it, but every time we go home, if we run into someone and they're like, "Oh, like, where do you live now?" and we're like, "Oh, we're in California," and they're like, "Oh, is it just like that's a terrible place?" And we're like, "Oh, okay,
and
it's fine."
lewdness.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
California is a lot bigger than you would realize.
Yeah, people just associate California with like LA, like one bad street in LA.
I heard there was an earthquake in California. Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, that was 8 hours away.
Yeah. Yeah. So like in California, so much of it is country.
Yeah.
Like we drive through country, we drive through small towns. Like it's the same as other places.
But the goal is like, you know, when you turn like 70 and retire, we all end up in Florida. That's it, right? That's what you're planning, right?
So.
We're all gonna end up in Florida eventually.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna have my yacht in Miami. You know, your Miami mansion.
Really?
That's, you know, after the millions. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, you're headed. I think the next step after TikTok is for you to become a megachurch pastor.
Good. Yeah. It'd be so easy. It'd really work out. Yeah.
Hey,
my gosh. No.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so PD and I talk about this a lot. It's like, does it you're creating, you have a big following, but it's like you, right? But then like we know of churches and other like businesses and brands and who aren't doing as good as like we are, right? Online. Do you feel bad that you're like, I'm creating, but it's like, it's all for me. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like, there's not like, you know what I mean? Like, people run like church accounts or whatever. Like, they're like, this is to draw people to the Lord and to raise money for missions. But it's like, nah, this is for us. You know, it's like, I wish there was something behind it. I wish it was like a church that you could, like a building you could go to or like a cult you could follow. But no, there's nothing. It's just, you watch us and then
we're working on the cult part.
Yeah, we're getting there. No, it's just for us. It is, and that was an interesting thing where it's like, you know, you kind of have to follow. I remember I was watching a video and it's like, it was a Gary Vee video, and he's like, "What's your motivation?" And he's like, "It's okay if your motivation is money." And I'm like, "Okay, like that. Yes, that is my motivation." But it is nice having, you know, with us now, it really is nice getting messages like every day of people being like, "You helped me so much. You brought me through depression." Like it's like stuff like that. And so I mean, because that's in the end, it has only been a year, but we're hoping to do this like for a while. Not TikTok, but you know, it's like content creation, building, like some sort of a legacy, but not something that's just going to be like, a quick cash grab and then move on. So
Like, you have ground rules for the videos you make.
Yeah.
Like, you want the people to leave feeling good. You want them to be encouraged. You never want to like make them feel bad about themselves. Like, you want the opposite.
you're not going to catch us making like cute couple videos anytime
No.
soon. We're not going
Yeah.
to become a couple prank account.
I was about to say, are you gonna start doing pranks and getting hot water?
Gosh. I always applaud anybody who's able to grow any sort of following, but whenever
Yes.
I think you're always annoyed the most by people that you're most similar to. So literally, like every time I see a couple account on my like For You page, I like barf. I'm like, this is gross.
But it's so different. We're not a couple account.
Yeah.
Like, we
I hope not.
we play characters.
But I
versus,
mean, if you
like,
guys just as a joke made a "We Broke Up" video, it would do big numbers.
And it should be like, we broke up the soil in our yard to make to plant tomatoes. That's like that's
Yeah,
funny.
I opened up. Side note: this is a social media thing, but you guys got to get on Snapchat Spotlight and just post every single one of your videos. But anyway, I've been posting all of my videos to Snapchat, and one of them was my wife finally broke up with me on Snapchat. I did the little bit of a prank, but that was of course talking about the past. But it's been fun reliving. I've had to literally watch all of my videos because they're paying you on Spotlight, and so I just like posted literally all of my videos over the past like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, see, that's how we're
Make it happen. Yeah.
the news.
They might pay you on Snapchat.
They might pay you on
It's
Snapchat.
not a for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You would think with like technology and the internet, like news would travel to the East Coast, but it doesn't. Like fashion and news, I don't know what it is. It's like I feel like there's stuff that y'all post, and share, and then other things that just kind of gradually kind of trickle across the lower 48. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it kind of gets.
I mean,
to
you've
us.
got the fashion thing down if you're going for like Mr. Huxtable, but
Yeah. Oh, you mean Mr. Huxtable?
I said the character.
Not the character. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's my, that's my goal. Every day I wake up, I even tell my wife, and I'm like, hey, turn your gaze. I'm about to put on this hot sweater.
Hey,
That's
Rudy,
great.
about to put on
Shama is Gap. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. And then PD, you just you emanate like Hot Topic. That's really
Hey, man, he got you.
Well, I mean, I feel like I already told this story on a podcast, but I'll do a brief version. It's like he saw a bunch of guys walking out of a Hot Topic.
We were at a mall.
It's like a bunch of guys with Iron Maiden shirts. He's like, oh, it's a pack of PDs.
Yeah, they all had like long hair. I was like, I was really hoping to walk into Hot Topic and see like a portal, and it was just shooting out PDs.
Yeah, like if you go to a metal festival, you'll just see a sea of me.
And I'm like, PD? Oh, sorry. Oh, man. I'd be bound to find at least like 4 PDs though.
Yeah.
Hey, this has been a ton of fun. Before we end, we have to check in with Chase. This is the checking in with Chase, our producer, who you can't see, but he's over here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Not a lot's going on, if I'm being real. I'm on spring break, chilling.
You were in Tennessee.
Yeah, I went to the Johnny Cash Museum, and did you know that Johnny Cash is a liar?
What?
In all of his songs, I walked in here and I thought, oh, Johnny Cash, he's like an outlaw, like he really stuck it to the man. No, he's like friends with all of the presidents. I thought Johnny Cash was like the southern white Tupac, and I thought like he died, like I thought he got shot and died. You want to know who killed Johnny Cash? God, at 91 years old.
So he lived a nice long life.
Yeah, man.
Shook hands with George Bush or whatever.
He did. Bush, Nixon, Ronald Reagan, all of them.
Nixon?
Even Nixon. And they gave him medals.
Come on, Nixon. Why?
So I was pretty disappointed that he was like a good dude or whatever. But, because like, when it comes to musicians, like you want them dead at 27.
I don't know if you want them. Hold on. I don't know if you want them dead.
We don't know.
And you want them to be terrible people. That's what you want from a musician.
I guess Chase has interesting
that's what you want,
requirements for musicians.
He's like really doubling down on it.
He pauses the album. Wait, is he an awful person? No. Can't listen to it. I'm tired. Get out.
Chase
man.
exclusively listens to artists that were canceled.
Yeah, I heard you. He's pulling in. He was listening to remix the Ignition
Yeah.
remix, and I'm like, Chase, please.
Just R. Kelly.
Oh man. So what is your opinion on Johnny Cash now that you?
I mean, he's banger music, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still like it, but he's lying.
Yeah.
He didn't shoot a man. He was discharged from the military, but he was honorably discharged like a loser.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
so-
Cocaine Blues wasn't like a real story?
Nah, well, he did do a lot of drugs. That is
Okay.
true. So that is a redeemable factor for me.
The redeemable negative factor
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that not a killer, did a lot of drugs.
But I mean, popular musicians being drug addicts is like, I mean, all of them.
Yeah, all of them, for the most- except for Shama.
yeah. Yet.
Yeah.
There's still time.
Oh man. Man.
I was
That
not
is-
expecting that at all.
I like the idea of Johnny Cash having like a really solid PR team. You know what I mean? They're like, guys, let's play up the bad boy, but also I got to meet with my CPA to do taxes. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like,
Look at this guy. He hurt himself today. He's bad.
hey, guys, give me the studio. I want to write a song about that guy. As soon as I take my vitamins, you know, he's like, he cares. He's like both ways.
Johnny
Man.
Cash flashes. Like that's what he does. 3 times a day.
We end the show with praise reports, which is just something you're thankful for. So yeah. Well, PD, do you got a praise report?
Yeah, I got to watch a pro wrestling pay-per-view with Kyle and Chase.
Yeah.
And Lauren was there for half the time.
Was this last Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. All my weeks are just mushing together. I can never remember which was what. Was my praise report? Oh, we're like building out another side of our space. We work out of a church, and we're like building a recording studio space.
So first we
it's super
got
fun.
this room, which is the podcast room. So we're getting one to record music, and I'm thinking we're just gonna slowly take over the whole church.
Slowly,
And then that's when we send the invite to you and Melinda to come start the cult.
like the like the black thing on Spider-Man. That's all. We're just like creeping.
Yeah.
But it's just a couple of white dudes in Shama. We're just creeping around the church, taking over slowly. No, but we're having a ton of fun. So just building out. So it's been super cool.
We're sleeping again, which is
Oh,
nice.
that was mine.
Ah, shoot. Okay.
We can share.
No, you. Okay. Well, with the we recently have been blessed with the with an upstairs apartment.
Oh no!
For a long 4 months, we had the
It's only
loudest upstairs neighbors that
Dude.
just never slept. It was like the classic, like if you've ever seen that video of it, it's just
Oh,
like the
yeah.
people like drop, like that was like
Bowling.
the type of thing where it's like 3 a.m. in the bedroom. It was just like, boom, and you're like, and
But
then
truly, that is what it sounded
followed by an hour of just. Dun, 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 3 a.m.
Oh.
So we very
moved
quickly
upstairs, and now
Yeah.
we get sleep.
Yeah, and now we can have a better view of the pretty
We're at
trees.
the same apartment complex.
You just
in
moved
an
above
upstairs.
them and like in like a power move where you're like, you peasant. I'm the one who makes noise.
We're not above. We are above them in a different section, so,
So
we
we
get
can
to
look down
We look
on
down
them.
on them. We look down on everybody in our fortress.
Man, TikTok has been good, huh?
Yeah, if it happens
You're just
again,
apartment
you're-
hopping,
yeah,
looking down.
if you get
Yeah.
noisy neighbors again, you're just gonna buy their apartment, right?
Yeah. So we're buying the complex, so that's
Send them an
So that's
envelope
been
with
very nice.
$300,000 in it.
no big deal.
Well, there is like I lived in an apartment, and there is like it's an ungodly amount of movement. Like you're wondering, I get the kitchen, bedroom, the walk, but then it's kind of like what are those extra errands? Like what are those extra routes that you're doing, right? And why are you wearing shoes indoors? You know, it's
Yes,
like,
yes.
doesn't make sense.
So we're wearing boots indoor. Yeah, that's what it was. Like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So it's been 3 weeks. Our life has changed forever.
God bless you, Melinda. Was that also your praise report? You
That
want to
was
share?
mine.
I
That
stole
was
it.
mine.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Griswolds are well rested.
Yes, that's all we need.
Yeah. That's really good, man. Well, thanks so much for stooping down to join some lowly East Coast peasants. I was just kidding. Taking the time. I'm glad to hear that you're not just doing any podcasts. So that just makes this super special. Thanks for giving us this time, man.
And if you ever
can
go on a
NFT
podcast,
this,
we're gonna be heartbroken.
Yeah. We're just gonna
I'm pretty sure
promote
Alex Griswold is an exclusive guest. That's what he told us, at least.
And Melinda, thanks so much for joining us as well. And
Thank you.
glad to see y'all are creating content together. Like this has been super fun. From memes to the CEO of Parenthood on TikTok. Is that did I say that right? I don't speak TikTok. I'm sorry.
Memes to dreams. That's how it goes. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, this has been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
PD, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. I'm the co-host. Why are you thanking me for being at my podcast?
Every time you show up is a blessing. You don't have to do this. But it's been a ton of fun.
All right. Well, thank you for being on here.
Hey, well, thank
Shama.
you, man. You like the sweater?
Shama,
like
thank
it?
you so much
Try
for being
something.
here. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah. I wore my finest sweater. I was watching the Cosby Show. No, I'm just kidding. No, this has been good. All right, we'll see you. Thank you.